10 or 11 maybe when I fell in love with DJing. My uncle was a DJ from New York, and matter of fact, he was at the house one day and he was playing. What song did he play? Oh, so he played Ice Cube's "Today Was a Good Day," and then he dug through a pile of records that my pops had, and he pulled out an Ozzy Brothers record, and he put the Ozzy Brothers record on, and Footsteps in the Dark came on, and I'm like, oh, that's cold. No, I had no idea that song was a sample. Like, I was like 11 years old, so my mind was blown. Like, I had heard, a lot of those old school records that were old school at the time for me, but just I'd never made that connection, like, for whatever reason, and then I was just blown away when I heard that. Man, that's cold to me. So I think that day is when I got bit by the bug, and I'm like, that's what I want to do. In general, like, music was always in our house. I come from a musical family. I grew up playing instruments. My father played instruments or plays instruments. My brother plays instruments. My uncle played instruments and was an engineer and a DJ.
For me, DJing is a passion and a pleasure. I'm still very, very passionate about it, but it brings me pleasure. Like, whenever I touch the turntables, whatever I have going on in my life, anything, like, when I touch the turntables, I'm happy. So it's definitely still a passion there for me, and it's about the art and the culture and, keeping true turntablism and good music and breaking music, keeping all that alive. It takes time, and you got to find your niche, to what makes you special, what makes you different, what makes you stand out from the next DJ. What you think, Pnut?
I agree with that. I threw myself all the way into it, in every aspect, and that's what kind of helped me always move forward. It's just like that itch and that hunger to really want to do the next thing, or not thinking that you've arrived once you've done this or done that, which I see a lot of people do, whether it's being on the road with an artist, or being at a major radio station, or working at this particular club, or doing this festival or this show. They think that they've arrived, and that's kind of like it, and that's kind of where they stop.
For me, the it moment was when I ended up spending in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Australia with the Outlaws. We did a tour called the Tupac Still Breathing Tour, and it was just real special. Like, I even felt like his presence was there, you know what I mean? So for me, and I had been DJing about 3 years maybe at that point. So for me, it was kind of, eye-opening in a sense of, it's DJs out here that's been DJing for so long and haven't left the block. Right. So that was a big deal for me, especially just going to another place like that where they love hip-hop, almost more than we love it, And they just about love me as much as they love the Outlaws. It's crazy.
As a person who grew up in a household with music, we went to a lot of shows. My parents had card parties at the house and, hosted events or whatnot. That's the thing that always kind of drew me to being a DJ.
Very similar for me. Like, for me, it's just, I want you to leave feeling like I took you, from A to Z, all around the world, and go home just feeling better than how you felt when you came. I'm definitely a hip-hop junkie. Yeah, we can go for days, all right, to what I came up listening to, from Nas to Poor Righteous Teachers to Das Effects to, it's so many Tribe. Outkast, we can go for days. But in general, I'm a music connoisseur, I'm a music lover. Hip-hop is my base, but it's so much more good music out here that's not hip-hop too. But hip-hop is my core, so. The number one misconception, wow, let's see. Take my shades off for that one. All right. One of them is that it's easy, and some people just think they can do it. And in all actuality, it's not it's a craft. It's just like learning any other skill. You got to put in work to get good and to get familiar with your style and what you love and how to rock the crowd on the tables, on the mic. It's a real skill to this. So some people think that nowadays with all the new DJ software coming out that, you know, they could just do it at the drop of a dime. And it does make it easier, but it's not easy.
This is $1 million question. $1 million. There's so many misconceptions. People, depending on where people are most familiar hearing you or whatever type of music they're familiar with you playing, depending on their experience with you, that they kind of think that that's the box that you're in. But they don't realize, like we touched on before about, you know, being a music connoisseur. Like, I grew up in a house full of musicians. So we grew up on funk, jazz, gospel, reggae. You know, I still listen to a lot of other music aside from, you know, the Futures, the Drakes, the 2 Chainz, the Gucci's or whatever. Like, I listen to Robert Glasper Experiment. I listen to, I might listen to Grover Washington Jr. one day. I might listen to James Brown or Confunction or Parliament Funkadelic on any given day. I might listen to, you know, some deep house or, you know, some EDM or, you know, whatever. Yeah, but people kind of think that you are this particular type of DJ because this is what they're familiar with you playing. And it's so much more than that. And I think that's one of the traits of a great DJ is that you're not just stuck in one particular box.